XOXO, got the girl. Pose. Good morrow and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, I am not sure how you got here, but certainly I'm glad you came. And if you are new here, well, you're in for a treat. All right, if you enjoy chaotic, frenetic energy and part probably 3 of a palette collection, then I suggest you go on ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Follow me on my socials. It's usually a good time, unless this isn't a good time for you, in which case, I think my feeling is hurt. All right, what we are here today with is obviously a palette collection. I am moving forward into this, and please keep in mind, I try to go through this fairly quickly because I truly do not want y'all to be here for an eternity as I like hem and haw over each palette. But one of the fun things about this is it has gotten me like into playing with my palettes again. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so starting us off, kicking us off today is going to be the Drench Cosmetics Cosmic Oasis palette. Yes, I am affiliated with Drench Cosmetics. This is such a fun palette, and I have not opened her up in a little bit. I need to bring her back out to play. I just like this palette so much because it has so much going for it. So many different looks you can create. You can be bold and bright, or if you want to bring it down a few notches, you definitely can. So I feel like you can definitely, like my friend Emily has done, is take this palette from day to night, night to day, and be able to enjoy yourself and have some fun. I greatly enjoy this blue. It's such a beautiful shade, and also I really like this silver, and this palette in particular still has the best, softest black matte shade I have ever encountered. But yeah, whatever you are going for, you will find it in this palette. So listen, you know how I feel about Drench. Let's move on. Okay, next up I have the I'm a Beach palette. I got this from ShopMissA back in the day, and I didn't understand that it was gonna come in all these singles. I have not played with it in a really long time because at the time I just didn't understand. I was like, oh, how do you, but it was this shade, which is why I bought it in the first place, this like turquoisey shade. I was like, yes, bitch. As you can see, I have an affinity for turquoise, but oh shit, I should play with this with my Drench palette because this is kind of nice. So like next to each other, that's it right here. Yeah. They are actually different shades, by the way, in case you were wondering. This one is more of a greeny, the one from Drench is blue. But yeah, I got this and I put it together, and then I was just like, I'm pretty sure I did like a makeup look on Facebook before. How embarrassing for me, because I don't like Facebook. Next up, this is funny. This is the Midas and Drench Genesis. I feel like this is still sold out. This is one of the best palettes I have. I feel like between this and Perception, like these two have been my favorites thus far, because it's just like, look at this color story and tell me that you are not enjoying yourself. Like again, I think for me, I like these grungy palettes that are really doing something to where you can, whatever you're into, you can make it happen with this one palette. And if you are not an influencer and you are a person who likes makeup, you're not a content creator, you don't create content anywhere, but you just like to put on makeup and you want 1 or 2 palettes, I would highly recommend this being one of your 2 palettes. You know what I mean? Because like right in here, you have night, you have day, you have night, you have day. You can be simple, you can be as complex as you want to be. So this is one of my favorites still. Next up I have a lot of Midas coming, so I'm affiliated with them, yes, but this actually came from someone I used to know. This is the Midas Cosmetics and Smoky Glow palette, and they sent this over to me. I actually enjoy this. It took me a little bit because I was like trying to figure out exactly how I wanted to play with it. I tend to use this palette specifically because I feel like a lot of the shades aren't necessarily for my skin tone. Some of them are, but a lot just really aren't. The shimmers, definitely there for me, but some of the other shades just really aren't for me, and that's okay because a lot of times I use this palette in conjunction with some of my single shadows or mattes. I use it in conjunction with other palettes. It actually does not bother me and upset me. An unsung hero in this palette is Dofa. Like that's the shade right there. It's very pretty. This shade, if you put this all over the lid and then decide to drop any one of the other shimmers on top of it, you cannot go wrong there. Let me show it to you right here. But yeah, this is just a really pretty like purple brown, like a brown purple copper. Does that make sense what I'm saying? We're gonna say that it does. I will be right back. I am going to rinse off my fingers. That sounds very gay. And I will return with more palettes for y'all. All right, so the next palette we're gonna be talking about is the Midas Cosmetics Flower Bomb palette. For those of you who don't know, the reason that these are coming up in this order is because they are actually put together in order by height. So palettes that are about the same height are going to be together. So this is the Flower Bomb palette. I really like this because of who I am as a person. Now I know that there's people who will not like this because there's several pressed glitters in here. But I tend to use them. You can use them on your face. Like this is Kala. You can use them on your face if you want to. That's the thing that I like about pressed glitters is I don't necessarily use them around or on my eye. You can use them to decorate the body. You know, like one side I can always see that I have a collarbone and then the other side it's just fat. I don't know why it's like that, but bodies are weird. But yeah, you can use it to like decorate your body. It's, you know, while I'm filming this, it is Pride. So you can use these to decorate your body. You can give yourself fairy freckles. Like that's why I like pressed glitters. I get that people don't enjoy them, but that's why I like them because sometimes working with individual glitter is like my own personal hell. I'm terrible at it. But I tend to turn this into like a bit of a like fairy goth palette for me. I will take like the shade Dahlia and the shade Hummingbird, two of the darkest shades in here, and just kind of like smoke everything out and then have like a very like gothy smoky look. And that's how I live. That's how I live my life. But I really like this palette. I enjoy the pressed glitters. If you don't like to put them on your eyes, don't. But again, body glitter. Live your best life. Next up we have the Flight Club palette from Menagerie. I always forget how heavy this palette is until I pick it up. Like this is a small palette, but it's heavy. It's doing a lot of business. Here's what I'm gonna say. This is really pretty. If you are a fan of purple, you're going to like this palette. Their shimmer formula is hit or miss for some folks. I really liked it. I enjoyed it greatly. Like this is a beautiful purple shimmer. I have like a piece of fur hanging off of my nail and I would apologize, but I didn't hurt anything. So then the next thing that was Hanging Out is the shade that I pulled, and you also have Fruity Feast, which is this like kind of really pretty. It has a little bit of a gold shift on it, and that's a very nice shimmer. But here's what I'm gonna say about this palette. Get it if you like purples, but prepare yourself for the fact that you cannot deepen it. And then those are them. This palette is actually very difficult in that, like not difficult, but if you wanted to make a smoky eye, this is not the purple palette for you. Howsoever, you can have fun with it. I do like it, you know, I'm not gonna say I don't like it. I am happy that I picked this up because I did get to find out that I like Menagerie's formula. I really enjoyed, like, I'm gonna show you these two shades as well. This is After Dark. But I will tell you that the mattes are very, very crumbly. There's a lot of fallout. This is Flying Fox. Excuse me. Flying Fox can stain a little bit. I didn't experience that, but I've heard from people who have. So I just wanted to warn you of that. And let me show you both of these. There we go. I love the pigmentation. I don't have any problems with it. I get that makeup is subjective. Everybody can have their own opinions. But I'm definitely going to say that this is not a palette where I'm going to be able to create these perfect, sexy, smoky purple look. I am more likely than not going to need to like go into one of the other palettes that I have, like my Colored Rain palette or my Ferocious Beauty palette, to really get this smoky purple look that I want, but I don't dislike it. All right, so we're back. We're ready to swatch this out. This is, again, another like grungy green palette. My main complaint with this palette, I feel like the last time I did the collection, is that it just feels like everything is green. And I know you're like, Audra, yeah, but like that's good. Here's the problem though. Almost all of these shimmers have a tinge of green in them. And the problem with that is like, it feels like no matter how hard you try, you end up with a green look instead of, so you have, and I'm gonna show you here. This is Venus and Cassandra. Like these are like not green, right? And then this one is green, and I forgot the shade name. Let me open this right quick. This is Valkyrie, all right? So Valkyrie. So the issue that I have is like you can see these shades like this, right? They're all different, but somehow if you use any bit of Gaia or Artemis, which is these green shades here, every single color will it will all end up like a green reflect look. Like, because they all have a little bit of green in them, which great, right? Like that's nice. But my problem is I just don't want to, like, I feel like it ruins the ability to have any depth with the palette. It makes it difficult for you to create a non-green look. The only way you can kind of do that is if you choose to use like the browns, which fine, but I just feel like there's like this level where you cannot get any other depth other than it's gonna be some variation of green, which fine, right? That's fine. But also I'm just saying, I guess I feel like why have these other shades if they're all just gonna be like variations of green? If you have all these shimmers, I want to see like a little bit more fun with it, I think. And I just feel like the green just overwhelms everything. It's just so damn green that you cannot get anything else out of this. So I don't know. I might play with this uno más tiempo. Uno más tiempo. Pero after that, I think I may go ahead and declutter this to a friend because I can't keep trying to like justify why I have it. And I think it's because I like the shimmers, or I might depot it. I like some of the shimmers, but I just don't like them together in a palette, if that makes sense. Next up, we have the Island Gaia palette from Prime Beauty. I keep trying to say it all the same, and I'm tired of trying to like re-edit it, but this is the Island Gaia palette by Prime Beauty. I have not played with this in a really, really long time, and I think it's because I feel like these shimmers need a little bit of help. They're a little bit dry. They're not as soft as I'd like them to be. So this is Mojito. And I feel like this is one of the like I love almost everything from Prime Beauty, but I do think that they need to work on their shimmer formula. Like Dance Hall is lovely, but realistically, I feel like they just kind of, these fall just a smidgen flat. Dominica is supposed to be this brilliant pink, and it kind of is when you really dig in there, but I don't feel like it's doing its job as much as I'd like it to. I will have to play with this again. It does have pressed glitters in the palette. If that's something that's going to upset you, I understand. But again, I use them for my body, and I use them in like places on my face. I have freckles, like that kind of shit. Like it's a good time for me. But I do need to like try this out again because I got this in the height of just me and my makeup excitement and colors. Like I was finally allowing myself to go back into color. And yeah, Carnival and Trini are the two pressed glitters, which is kind of a shame when I'm looking at this palette. Hold on, let me do it. Let me try it like this. There we go. It's kind of a shame that those two, the blue and the green, that have matching friends down here, because if they were going to do that, I almost wish that they had done the mattes here to match them instead of Dulce de Leche and Bahan. I really wish that they had just kept that going down, and almost the same here, you know, like keep this kind of same energy, and I just feel like that would have made the palette elite. All right. So next up in the super fun palette party, y'all have seen her, y'all know her well. Her name is Plain Jane. This is from Adept Cosmetics. I do believe this is still available for pre-order at the time that I am dropping this video. Hopefully, who knows what order I have dropped any of these videos in. But this ACI formula is stunning. And I'm going to just put my finger in ACI 17 specifically because I have not used this shade yet. So I just wanted to see it. Like that's where we are right now. I'm like, I'm gonna look at, oh bitch, what? Okay, it's right here on my like on my wrist ankle. I know, you're like, wrist ankle? Yes, wrist ankle. Ooh, okay, a look coming. A look is gonna come with that. Like literally just that and AC 19 all over my ACI 19 all over my eyes. Obviously, she has a sister, and they have a cousin on the way, but this is Ninhydrin. Y'all, if you don't, like, yes, I feel like you can get other shades. I know you can. I believe my friend Lacey has said they, like, bought 2 different shades and put them in here because they weren't a fan of the mattes. I don't mind them. Like, it's all right. I kind of like it because I can just put this down. Sometimes it's just, like, a flat base, and then, like, pop this on top. ACI 21 to the stage. ACI 21 to the stage. Sorry, I'm sorry. Like, also, no, I'm not. I'm gonna just prop this on my pinky like so. Like y'all. Oh, okay. So obviously I love this palette. I love both of them. And like, this is the thing, is like, once I find a palette and I like love it, I start like doing so many looks with it, and then I forget about my other palettes, which is obviously can be a problem, but we're gonna move past that. Next up, we have the Colored Rain Queen of Hearts, which this is the OG. This is one of my OG palettes that got me into like, okay, I'm not bad at makeup. It turns out I just had a lot of bad makeup. A lot of the eyeshadow palettes that came in beauty box subscriptions, a lot of those palettes, I just feel like they were either like old or they weren't great formulas. Even if they were new, the formula was not fantastic. So Your Majesty, obviously one of my favorite shades ever. And if you need a, you know, companion, I guess, a little bit to kind of what, whatever this was from from the Smoky Glow Midas, this shade here, Dethrone, is a little close to it, but it's more bronze and less purple. So if you were wondering about that. And then also we have Your Majesty, which is just this beautiful, this is not a regular gold, this is a bronzy gold. And I love that. Like, you can obviously tell that this was created by a person of color. I can always tell, especially in golds, that they are created by people of color. And one day I'll go into that more, but I can tell by the golds that people create that they're, whether or not it's actually like sometimes you could probably show me a palette a lot of times and I would be able to be like, yeah, that's probably a black owned brand. Just because of how they formulated the gold. Like, that's literally it. So next up we have the Dominique Cosmetics Celestial Thunder palette. This one, I think I'm gonna finally go ahead and declutter to a friend. I keep keeping this and there's literally no reason for me to keep it. It's nice, it's fun, whatever, but like, it's not really giving me what I want it to give me anymore. Like, I've moved kind of past and beyond this. I need like more action than this. So I think, you know, I have a couple friends in mind that I'm gonna go ahead and declutter that too. It's not a bad palette. The mattes are quite nice, but you do, I am gonna say this about Dominique Cosmetics mattes, you kind of do have to work with them, because if you are not careful, like if you don't go in properly, they can just kind of dust away on you. So you really have to like pack it on and be careful with how you blend it. Oh, speak of the devil, Dominique Cosmetics. The Rustic Glam palette. I wanted this so bad. I had almost bought it. Then it ended up showing up, I think, in like my Boxycharm, and I was like, yes, I get to have it. So I think that this is another one that I might just declutter to a friend. I think because like, it just doesn't do it for me anymore. Like, also there's a G slur in here as one of the shade names, and I just don't play with this. I never think about grabbing this palette. That's the thing. I like literally, it never occurs to me. And I feel like their shimmers just aren't giving what I want them to give. It's all right. So I have a friend, I'm gonna go ahead and declutter those two. Y'all, listen, we have 2 more palettes in this installment and then we are done. I still have the Lime Crime Venus palette. I honestly keep this out of nostalgia more than anything else. Like, I don't care how well it works at this point. It's just, it's nostalgia. Like, that is Muse, and then that is Shell. These are like 2 of my favorite shades to use back in the day. This is one of the first like kind of semi-colorful palettes that I purchased when I first started makeup. And I'm not mad at it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm always gonna like it. This is before I knew about all the shit that happened with Lime Crime and Doe Deer, all of that. And I just really liked this palette. I think that this is a good indicator of, for me, realizing that I don't really like a huge palette. This has 8 shades in it. I really do like a smaller palette because it's just like more fun to play with. Not even just size, but in shades. I think it's like more cohesive. A lot of people who are trying to figure out what to do with makeup or understand like how they want to play with it, palettes of this size are just really helpful. Like 9 pans, you know, small quads. These are very helpful for those of us just like when we first enter into the realms being like, I want to play with color, but I don't know how. Palettes of this size do. I would probably still repurchase this because I really like this palette. It's so old. I've had it way too long. We're gonna move on. Finalmente, we have the At Forest Sight Raw Beauty Christie and ColourPop collab. I have not picked this up in a minute. I think a lot of it is because like, I just don't think about it, to be honest. Like, I like the palette. It is fun. It's a fun little palette. I like to play with it. It does have quite a bit of fallout, especially in the greeny shades. The deeper the shade is, the more fallout I find that it has, like the P&W, Amanita, Homegrown, especially the greens. There's quite a bit of fallout with these shades, but it's a fun palette. It's a good time. I can make it dark like I always do, or I can just kind of make it very chill. You know what I mean? Like I could make it chill, relax. I can make it vampy. So that is, I feel like part 3. I hope it's part 3. Part 3 of my palette collection. I told y'all I have a ton of palettes, and this is why I broke it up. And now even I am looking like I had no idea. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, going through my palette collection. If you would, do me a solid, give this video a big thumbs up so that way I can continue to get pushed further down in the algorithm, which means I can keep doing whatever the fuck I want to. And as usual, huge shout out to my patrons and spooky bays, yeah. All right, you know the drill. It costs $0 to be kind. It is so good for your soul because if you don't take care of it, I'm sure it's fuck coming for yours. Until next time, XOXO. Got the girl. There's a taste of fear. Hail, hail, grading up. I'm pushed to claim it all. Hail to the king. I've seen deader ways. Nightmare. Now your nightmare comes to life. Watch your tongue or have it cut from your head. Drag you down below, down to the devil show. Tell them all good, tell them okay. Don't do a goddamn thing they say. Ooh, it's your fucking nightmare. So, there's nothing on that finger, and that made me feel foolish. Oh, get it.